Satnam. Welcome to SouFlow Yoga. My name is Amy. I'll be taking you through this week's beautiful transit, gate 23. So the sun is entering into gate 23. The sun represents masculine energy. It also represents this, like, how we show up, how we express ourselves energy. We also have the earth moving into gate 43. The earth is more of this grounding energy. This is, if you're experiencing the sun energy through expression, it's very like in your face kind of energy, and you want to ground yourself, like, okay, I need to like ground myself in something, theme, archetypal energy. This is what you're going to do this week. These two gates, gate 23, the sun, gate 43 in the earth, just so happen to create a channel, the channel of structuring. This is individual circuitry. Individual circuitry is empowering. It's, you just show up as your individual self and you empower others to do the same, to honor who they are. Individual circuitry is also energy that works kind of in an on-off pulse, if you will. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to show up. And you can't control it. It's going to be what it's going to be when it's going to be. This energy is, this gate 23 energy is in the throat center. So it is expression through speaking. That's how we express ourselves. The throat center is also a manifestation center, and not like manifestation, I'm going to manifest something. It's manifestation in all the energy in the body graph wants to make its way to the throat so it can be expressed. So the voice for, let's say, logical circuitry, which is collective, is I think. That's how it's expressed. And then we have the abstract circuitry, which is also collective, but it is more of the voice of I feel. And then this individual circuitry, specifically this throat ajna connection that we have, is I know. So the ajna is an awareness center, and so this is individual knowing, all right? I know. And this channel is also called the Genius to Freak channel, and I'll tell you more about what that is. So you don't have to have this channel or any of these gates activated in your body graph this week to experience this. If you do, great, and if you don't, also great. If you don't have any of it, you're going to get a chance to sample it and taste it this week. And it might be energy that feels a little foreign. You're like, you might even be looking back and like, why was I acting like that? Why was I thinking about that? Like, what was going on? Don't even worry about that. Just allow yourself to have an experience with it. And in fact, hopefully this video will help you not only help people who have this energy always, or a piece or a part of it, but help those who are experiencing it this week. And of course, you'll be experiencing it, you know, at other times through the people that you're with or the transits. So let's talk a little bit about the shadow of gate 23 and then 43. So gate 23, once again, it is it's the assimilation of this knowing from gate 43, right? So once again, gate 43 is in the ajna. This is a knowing, an awareness. And then it moves down into gate 23, which is the throat. So it's this assimilation of that knowing to be expressed. And it says, I know. And the shadow of this energy is, so we've got this, you know, typically there's pressure from the head center, coming down, pressurizing the throat to want to express itself and speak. So the shadow of this is sort of shows up two different ways. In a repressed state, we don't speak at all. We repress that throat center from wanting to express itself. We say nothing. We keep our knowing to ourselves, or we question our knowing. We don't trust our knowing. There's a lot of fear here around being rejected, because in the past when we've shared this knowing, we have been rejected. That's that freak side of the genius to freak saying. Somebody coined it. I don't love it. I actually have that entire channel, the 4323. It is, the 23s, I only have 2 throat gates that are activated, and that's one of them. So I really don't love this genius to freak, but I can totally relate to it. So anyway, we shut down, we don't share our knowing. And also part of this channel and this gate 23, we want to be heard. We want to share our knowing. Like it just, something inside of us is like, I've got something to share and I know it's going to be helpful and I just got to share it, right? But at the same time, we have been rejected, and so that's really painful. We all know what that feels like, and we just shut down. That's the repressed side of this. The reactive side of this gate is to be like, just like, almost like verbal diarrhea. Blurting, just nonstop talking. And truly here it's like, we're saying maybe the right thing, but we're saying it at the wrong time or to the wrong people. And once again, freak, right? So, and then this knowing, it just comes when it's going to come, right? It's not pre-thought out. It's not, a lot of times in the past, I can think about times where I'm like, okay, I've got to rehearse what I'm going to say. I've got to write it all down. But that, you get to showing up, like this is a perfect example. I may have written down a bunch of notes, I've got notes here, and I sit down and I show up, but I'm not going to read from my notes, and I never say exactly what my notes are. It is this knowing that just comes. And so the key to get out of this complexity of this energy and to get into the gift, which is simplicity, is one, you really need to be able to explain your knowing. And sometimes that's kind of hard. And so here's some tips, okay? So one, the number one thing with this energy that we're going to be experiencing this week, and if you have the channel of structuring, the 4323, or even just the 23, is to wait. We need to be called, we're invited to share our knowing. And when we wait for that invitation or that call, and it's going to come from another person or from a circumstance, that is when our knowing can come out beautifully. Trust that you're going to know what you need to know when the time arises, and it will be easy for you to explain it. And if you're called to share your knowing and you're still having trouble explaining it, that's okay. Just simply say, I'm struggling a little bit to get my idea across. Maybe I need to spend some more time, contemplating it, or does this make sense? These are some things that I've done in the past. And I also, because it's a gift, it is a gift. It's like very innovative thinking, innovative knowing. It's mutative. It can actually, help bring more efficiency to a situation or a circumstance through a solution. So sometimes when I try to explain myself, like maybe right now, I feel like I'm stumbling a little bit, but hopefully you don't see that or feel that. I take responsibility. I don't blame the other person for not understanding me. I don't get angry for being misunderstood. I know that it's my responsibility to hold space for this energy because it is mine. And so holding responsibility for it means trusting in my own knowing and trusting in divine timing and waiting. So trust that the invitation will come. Being called out will come. It's just a matter of trusting and grounding ourselves in our insights, our knowing, right? They're always going to come when the time is right. You can't force it. You can't make it come. And blurting it out and holding it back isn't going to do you or the collective any favors. So I just want to leave you with some tips on that, and then we'll move right into the yoga practice, where we're going to be activating not only our ajna, but our throat center as well, and our heart center. Remember, all of the chakras and all of the centers in the human design body graph, they all work together. When one is out of balance, they can be all out of balance, right? Or if one's got a shadow situation, it's still going to influence all the others. So anyway, it's going to be a great practice, and it's going to be nice and quick. So tips for you this week, whether you have this energy, I mean, you're going to have it this week regardless, whether you have it already defined in your body graph or not, is practice waiting. Practice being a really good listener and waiting for that invitation, right? This is also a very, very acoustic channel as well. So acoustic in, like, think about that. Like, how can I be a better listener? And even that listening allows you to have those moments of, like, knowing. So creating those spaces and gaps to listen, not only to others around you or the world around you, but to your own inner knowing, right? Your own inner dialogue. And once again, you know, like, I may come to this mat every day to practice, to be in stillness, to create gaps where I can be inspired. And the knowing may not come, and that's okay. You just continue to show up and trust that it will show up when the time is right. And you'll get to express it and share it when called upon or invited to. So waiting, listening and waiting and trusting that you'll know what you need to know. You'll be able to share what you need to share when called upon. The other tip I would give you is, because of the acousticness, is if you have a knowing and there's no one to share it with, do a voice note, a voice recording. And because also we want to hear, not only do we have this knowing, but we need to hear it. So that's that pressure that we feel to share it. And if the time isn't right, if you don't get the invitation and you've got a knowing, do a voice note and then play it back and listen to it yourself. Maybe you'll see, that doesn't really make sense after all. Or, oh, okay, now I had a chance to hear it and I need to refine that a little bit. Write a note down. Say, this might be a great idea for another time. But it'll always be there. It'll always come back up if it's meant to be, right? So an idea or an inspiration or a knowing will always be present again, even if in that moment it's not being called upon or asked for. If it is for you to express and to show, it will come back around if it's meant to be. Okay, that's enough talking. Let's get right into practice today. This beautiful practice where we're going to once again be stimulating the ajna, but specifically, or more importantly, I'd like to think about, we're going to be stimulating the pituitary gland, the master gland. Okay, this is the glandular system within the body. It's also going to be activating that vagal nerve, which innervates at the base of the spine, or the base of the skull, in the head brain, coming down into the heart brain, and then also into the gut brain. So this is like the super highway. I like to think about it like a super highway for communication between my entire body, my body systems, and my brain system, right? So another piece of this, kind of getting back to gate 23 and 43 of channel structuring, is this is a mental process. You know, there's no motor behind it. It's just awareness. And that's why it needs that invitation. But when we are in the shadow frequency of it and we're feeling misunderstood, maybe we're getting angry because we're like, no one is listening to me. I have all this wisdom and knowledge and no one's listening. Okay, I can totally relate to that. Excuse me. This is when we really just need to, like, that's when we can turn, sorry, I'm getting my words all jumbled up here, but that misunderstanding that we feel, although a mental process, turns into an emotional one. And then perhaps we start to ruminate, we create these false stories about the why or our value, blah, 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 blah. So the gift of today's practice, I'm hoping, is that we can change the story. We can drop into this beautiful gift that is this channel that brings so many beautiful new things to the people that you surround yourself with, you know, whether it's work or family or whatever it is. It's, you know, in some ways I feel like it's, you can always find a way to make something work. Yeah, so, okay, let's just tune in. I could go on and on and on. This one's really juicy to me, so, but I'm going to leave it at that. The gift is simplicity, and I probably should have stopped about 4 minutes ago. But anyway, hands together at the heart center. We're going to tune in with the Adi mantra, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. I bow down to the divine wisdom. I bow down to the divine teacher from within. All right, sitting up nice and tall, closing the eyes, rolling those eyeballs in towards the nose, up towards the space between the eyes. This is the third eye. Take a big inhale through the nose and exhale nose. We're going to chant this Adi mantra 3 times. You're, of course, invited to chant with me, or you can just listen and experience. This is how we open up our container. This is also how we ask our ego to step back, step to the side, and allow our inner truth and essence and our higher state of consciousness, our higher self, to come forward and be present. Again, big deep inhale through the nose and exhale. And now we inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Through the nose, holding that breath in, engaging the root lock, that's pelvic floor, sex organs. Pull that up and in like you're stopping the flow of urine or doing a Kegel. Maybe you can experience the energy from the base of the spine, spiraling up, 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 all the way to the crown, which is the top of the head. And exhale, those hands come down. Palms facing up on top of the knees. Just take a moment here. Big inhale. Exhale, turn palms over on top of the knees. Keeping the eyes closed if that feels supportive. I keep my eyes closed for the entirety of the practice because it helps me to really go inward and connect with this energy that is always running within me. It helps me to connect to my breath as well. Breath is life. So let's go ahead and eyes are closed, sitting up nice and tall. We'll begin with soupy circles. All right, so your pelvic bowl is like a bowl. Your spine is like a spoon stirring soup. Pulling it down. So inhale as you come forward. Exhale as you come back, just circling this pelvic bowl. Reverse the direction. Your circles can be as big or as small as you'd like. Inhale, come back up to sitting up nice and tall. And exhale. Alright, gently open your eyes if you'd like. Alright, we're just going to continue continue to warm up our spine a little bit because we are going to be opening up the channels that run alongside the spine, Anvita and Pingala. So keeping our hands on our knees, we're going to rock forward in our pelvic bowl, heart center comes forward, elbows bend a little bit, and then we exhale, it's like we're scooping out our belly, arms become straight. Okay, I want us to go really slow here because what I want us to also do is as we come forward with our inhale, heart center forward, but also lift the chin to open up the throat center, okay? That's the inhale. And then exhale, chin to chest. So it's almost like we're doing a seated cat-cow. But I want us to be gentle with our neck, so I want us to go slowly here, long, deep breathing. Breath that matches your movement, so make it slow. Do one more inhale forward, and then one more exhale back. So let's go ahead and bring those legs out in front, give them a quick shake, give those knees a break, an easy pose. You can do this entire practice in a chair as well. So if sitting on the floor doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. You can do this in a chair. All right, we're going to come back into easy pose. We're going to do a little bit of it's breath work, but we're also going to be creating some sound. So just like we did at the beginning when we tuned in, we did Om Namo, Gurudev Namo. We're just going to use the mantra Om, O-N-G. That's the sound that it makes, but we're not really saying it. We're not actually even using our throat center here, except to feel the breath on the back of the throat. What I want us to do is I want us to inhale through the nose, and then we're going to exhale through the nose, but that breath is going to create, and our vocal cords are going to vibrate a bit when we sort of make the sound Om. So let me just try it to show you. All right, so Om. But it's really coming through. It's not really the throat center that's working. It's kind of hard to explain. And here I am trying to make it simple. Okay. It's really the space, it's the nasal conch. Okay, so this like cavity in our nose. And so what's happening is the nasal cavity is vibrating and it's making this Om sound. Om. And this vibration in this cavity stimulates the pituitary gland, which is in the brain, because they're right next to each other, right? Also, the palate, the upper palate of the throat is also vibrating, and that's stimulating pineal gland and all these like feel-good glands. They release all the feel-good hormones, right? So that, and when our hormones are in balance, our glandular system is in balance, we feel really good. So this is all good, right? To feel good. So we're just going to bring our pointer finger and our thumb tip touching in Gyan Mudra, resting on top of the knees. You can have a gentle bend in your elbows. You don't have to straighten them out unless that feels supportive to you. And then sitting up nice and tall, just closing the eyes. And we'll inhale through the nose. And let that sound come through the nose. You'll feel it vibrate. With your exhale, inhale nose. And again, let's just continue here for a couple more of these. So you're not really saying Om, it just sounds like you are. So keep going. Excuse me, my throat's tickling. Keep going. Last time here. work. All right, gently open the eyes. All right, let's come onto our feet. Let's come into a standing position. And we're going to stand up for this first asana or exercise. We're also going to bring our thumbs to the base of our pinky finger and make a fist. And these arms are going to be by the side of our bodies. Roll those shoulders back. Maybe you can squeeze the shoulder blades together. Feet are hip distance apart. And make sure all four corners of your feet are pressing into the floor. Maybe even a gentle bend in the knees. So don't lock out knees, gentle bend. And then we're going to lift our chin up. Eyes are closed, or you can gaze at the ceiling if you like, or the sky, wherever you are. All right, bring your head back down, so don't stay in that position. We're going to be doing breath of fire. And if you haven't done breath of fire before, it's just like panting like a dog. Our bellies pump while we breathe, but we're doing it through the nose. So if you want to go and place one hand on the belly here, and just pretend like you're panting like a dog. Now close the mouth and do the breath through the nose. Tip here, just focus on the exhale. You don't need to worry about the inhale. When you're exhaling, that belly button comes in. And you can go at your own pace. All right, so again, hands are in a fist by the side of the body. Roll the shoulders back, open up the heart center. Lift the heart center to the sky as you lift the head. Opening up the throat center. This is also opening up circulation to our head, our ajna, the crown, the whole thing. And begin breath of fire. Take a big inhale. Exhale, bring that head back up to neutral. Open up the hands, wiggle the fingers. Inhale. And exhale. Take a moment here. Eyes stay closed. Just take a moment. Notice what you notice. We're going to focus on what we can do. We're not going to worry about what we can't do today. Celebrating what our bodies are able to do and capable of in this moment. As we know, each moment changes. All right, we're going to come down to the floor. We're going into triangle, but first we're going to come down to the floor into tabletop. So knees underneath the hips, palms to the floor, underneath the shoulders, right? Now, or maybe a little bit above the shoulders, okay? So as you can see, my hands are not directly underneath my shoulders. And my feet, my toes are plugged into the floor here. So fingers are spread wide. All four corners of those palms are pressing into the floor, okay? So just send some energy from shoulders down into the hands, pressing that floor away. And now send energy down through the hips to the toes, and then push the floor away with your toes. Lifting that booty up into the air, okay? Let the head come down, ears by the biceps. And then see if you can set your feet flat to the floor. If you can't, that's okay. Just start pedaling, bringing one foot flat to the floor at a time. Continue here. If you want to bring your feet wider apart, sometimes that also is supportive. This is triangle pose. If you've done other yoga, also known as downward dog. Take those shoulder blades and wrap them around too, around your upper torso, right? This helps support your shoulders. You shouldn't feel any tension in your shoulders here. All right, once you've found a comfortable position and your knees, comfortable in triangle that is, your knees can be gently bent too, if that's supportive. I'd rather have your back straight then your legs completely straight, okay? Best triangle you can give. And from here, we're just gonna do long, deep breathing. Keep your belly button pulled back and in. Continue to send energy down those shoulders, arms, into the hands, into the floor, as well as from your hips, down your legs to your feet. Pressing hands and feet into the floor, pushing, and then experience the floor, the ground, pushing back, creating a sense of harmony and balance. More moments here. On your next inhale, bring those knees to the floor. Exhale, come back and sit on your heels. Palms resting on top of the thighs. Take a moment here. On our next inhale, come up onto your knees. All right, we're going to do a modified camel. Yes, camel. All right, so knees are underneath the hips. I want to make sure that we are tilting our pelvis so that we're taking the sway out of our low back. All right, engaging our root block again. Remember, that's pelvic floor, sex organs. All right, so you should feel energy pulling up in the inner thighs, up from the root center, up to the navel. Okay, this is like our solid foundation, like a girdle. I don't really want to use that word, but that's the only thing I could think of. So, rolling the shoulders back and down, and then bringing those hands to the low back. Just you can see. You can also do them like this if that's more comfortable. That's how I'm going to do mine, where my thumb tips touch, or sometimes they cross. Okay, so then I'm going to lift my heart center to the sky, and then I'm going to let my head come back and just drop. If this is not comfortable on your neck, just find that space wherever it is comfortable. This is about opening up the heart center and the throat center, and so you're going to focus on doing what you can do. Now, if you're super flexible, you can come into full camel where your hands come down and grab your heels or your ankles. That's not my wheelhouse. So from here, just long, deep breathing. You should only be bending back as far as you can go. Sometimes that's not, because you don't want any crunching in your back, okay? Especially if there are any back injuries. So if you need to come a little bit out of that back bend, don't even make it a back bend if you can. It's more of a lift, and then let the head drop. If you're shaking, that's okay. That's your nervous system. And when you activate it and stimulate it, it strengthens. Nothing to be afraid of. more seconds here. Take an inhale and bring yourself slowly, slowly back up. Sitting still on your knees. Straight, elongated spine, and release those hands. We're going to go into the opposition pose, where you come to sitting on your heels and then widen your knees, bring your forehead to the floor, bring those arms beside the body, hands rest right next to the feet. This is baby pose. It's a little different than your typical yoga classes. Or baby pose, the arms are out in front, but here in Kundalini Yoga, we have our arms back beside the body, hands by the feet. Allow the back of your back, allow your back to expand with each big, deep inhale. And contract with the exhale. Really filling up the belly with air with the inhale. And pushing it out completely as you bring belly button back to spine. Last time here. And then bring those hands beside the knees. Push the floor away, coming back up. You're going to stay on your heels for just a moment. Take a moment here. Take a big inhale and exhale. We're going to come onto our bottoms. We're going to actually lay down on the floor. Roll yourself down, or come to lying down, whatever way is comfortable for you. Now, if you're in a chair, you're just going to come to your edge of your chair, but you got to make sure that your chair is pushed back up against a wall so that it doesn't move or slide if you're going to try this. So if you're on the edge of the chair, you're just going to lift your legs, engage that core and hold, and begin breath of fire. Now, we're going to be doing stretch pose on the floor. We inhale our head up, we exhale, extend our legs. They hover about 6 inches above the ground, arms beside the thighs, gazing at our toes, and we begin breath of fire. If you're in this stretch pose and it becomes too much, drop one leg down while you hold the other one up. Continuing breath of fire. And then try to bring it back up. If you need another break, you can lower the other leg. Always try to come back together. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower all the way to the floor and just relax. Take a big inhale. Exhale. Inhale, knees towards the heart center, grabbing the shins with the hands, and begin to rock back and forth, or you can rock side to side. You're going to rock yourself up or roll yourself over to one side and come up. We're going to come into rock pose again. Rock pose is where we sit on the heels, so sits bones and heels connect together. Palms will be on top of the thighs, face down. All right, we're going to do a spinal flex here. So we did a spinal flex at the beginning of this session where we lifted our chin. Now with this one, we're going to keep the neck and the head still. They don't move. We're just going to be rocking within our pelvis and our navel and heart centers, okay? So we're going to inhale, rock forward, heart center forward, and then exhale, rock back, scooping out that belly, all right? So you can move slowly if you want, or you can go more quickly. Breath should match the movement. So if you're going slowly, your breath should be slow. Inhale forward, exhale back. Being mindful of the neck and the head. I was just like, I think my neck and my head are moving. I need to make sure they're not. If you want to move faster, more rapidly, that's okay too. On your next inhale, inhale up to straight spine. Hold that breath in, engaging root lock. Exhale, let it go. Just take a moment here again. Just allow yourself to go inward. Again, notice what you notice. Do you feel any energy swirling or vibrating? Just notice. Whatever thoughts come up, just notice, don't attach. Take a big inhale and exhale. All right, gently open the eyes. And we're going to come back into our easy pose, our seated position. We're going to do a quick meditation. This is a 7-wave meditation. It's called 7-wave meditation. We're going to be chanting Sat Nam. We're going to be chanting Sat, especially, in 7 undulations. So I want you to think about, and then Nam is just a quick Nam. So we're going to be sort of taking a visual trip through our chakras, starting at the first chakra, which is our root chakra. This is at the base of the spine. Second chakra is the sacral. Third is the navel center, solar plexus. Fourth is that heart center. Fifth is the throat. Sixth is the ajna, the third eye. Seventh is the top of the head. Okay, so it's going to be, and I'll just kind of give you an example of what to expect. We're going to start by chanting Sat Nam. And with that Nam, I want you to think of all that energy that's come from that base of that spine, moving its way up and coming out of the crown into the cosmos or the ether or into the world around you, okay? Giving and then receiving. So just opening ourselves up, all right? Okay, so go ahead and get to position, which is easy pose, sitting up nice and tall, or you're in a chair. This is just a Gyan mudra, so pointer tip and thumb tip touching, resting on top of the knees, eyes are closed. I am going to, you're not going to hear the music, but I'm going to play it so I can keep time with that. You got it, okay. And so if you want to just listen for the first round and then join in when you're ready, that's also totally fine. All right, go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Here we go. Take a big inhale in between each one. Sat Nam. Big inhale. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. And visualize from root to crown. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat One more time. Take a big inhale, hold that breath in, engaging the root lock. And exhale. Take a moment here. Release any need to control your breath. Allow yourself to just be in a meditative state. Perhaps you still hear that beautiful 7-wave Satnam in your mind. Take a big inhale through the nose and exhale. Again, one more time. Big inhale and exhale. Gently open the eyes. Bring those arms up over the head. Shake out the hands and the arms. And then go ahead and, as you're shaking, bring those arms down. We're going to seal our practice with one lung Satnam, and then I'll share the blessing with you. You're welcome to participate and join me in that if you know it. You've heard me say it before, or just accept it as my gift to you. So bring the palms together, begin to rub them vigorously, and bring those hands into prayer pose. Again, sitting up nice and tall, closing the eyes and gazing at the third eye, the space between the eyebrows. Take a big deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, nose. And now we inhale to tune out. Satnam. Bring those prayer pose hands up above the head, if you'd like. May peace be with you. To the third eye, may light be with you. To the throat, may truth be with you. And to the heart, may love be with you. Now bring the hands down through the chakras. As I say, may safety, security, prosperity, and grounding be with you always. Satnam. Thank you for being here. Just remember that this is some amazing energy that we're going to be experiencing this week for the next 6 days. And it will evolve over the next 6 days as well in its own beautiful way. It will show up for you in its own beautiful way. Just have an awareness for it, a beautiful awareness. That's mental assimilating awareness. And if you feel pressured to share it when before being called, just try to notice that pressure and not act on it. And just remember that when you wait for the invitation, when you wait to be called to share, that is when what you have to say is that much more potent and that much more supportive. And that is when the gift really gets to show up. And the right people will be there at the right time, right? And this is about timing, definitely divine timing. So just ground yourself in the insight and the trust that you will know what you need to know when you need to know it, and that the right people will show up at the right time. You don't need to force it. There's no worry that a beautiful insight or innovative thought isn't going to show up again. It's like once you've had it, they're gone. They're always going to be there. They're going to show up when they're ready. So with that said, love you well. Till next time. If you have any questions or comments, please do share them with me.